Hey guys, it's Mrs. Moylan and Mrs. Dalton, and we are here to go over your Unit 2 test. Which answer represents an elevation of 35 feet below sea level? So they tried to trick you with this word elevation, but you were too smart because you know that 35 feet below sea level would be negative 35 feet. So A was the correct answer. Number 2, Jackson went deep sea diving with some friends. He descended, that's our clue word, descended, which we know means to go down, at a rate of 4 feet per minute. So after 1 minute, he was at -4. After 2 minutes, he was at -8, -12, -16, and he keeps on going for a half of an hour, which is 30 minutes. So it should have been 30 times -4 equals -120. Lots of people got this question wrong, though, because they did not bubble in the correct spots. 120 needs to be in the correct place value, and it was negative, so you had to bubble the negative. Number 3, if I put the point 3 1/5, -2, that means I'd go over to 3 1/5, and then I'd go down to -2, so my point would be somewhere over here. What quadrant would it be located in? This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So my point would be located in quadrant 4. Number 4, which of the following best represents the point located on the number line? And it should have been above. So if I'm looking at that number line above, I see that my point is in between -1 and -2. So it's definitely not a positive number. And it's definitely not before -1. So C is the correct answer, -1 1/2. Number 5, if the number line below represents temperatures in degrees, what temperature does point A represent? So here's 0, -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. Number 6, Tanner wants to show the statement -5 is located to the left of -3 on a horizontal number line. So if I draw my number line, and here's 0, -3 is right here, and to the left of that is -5. We know that -3 is greater than -5. That line underneath means that it could be equal to it. We know that -5 cannot be equal to -3 because they are not the same thing. So C and D are eliminated. Letter B says that -5 is greater, which is not true. So A is the correct answer. Number 7, this is the one question that we didn't really spend very much time on, so Miss Dalton and I decided that it would not count against you in your grade in Skyward. What it means is rational numbers are basically all numbers. That's like positive numbers, negative numbers, fractions, decimals, and then integers we know are just the negative numbers, the positive numbers, and 0, the whole numbers. So integers are part of rational numbers. That's why D is the correct answer. Number 8, which of the following is not equal to 8, which means you have to solve all of them. So letter A says the absolute value of -8 is 8. Letter B says the absolute value of -8 plus a negative sign is -8. Letter C says the absolute value of 8 is 8. And then letter D says the absolute value of negative times negative, which would be positive, is 8. So the correct answer would be B, because that is not equal to +8. Number 9, on the coordinate plane below, which coordinate pair represents a labeled point on the graph? So I have to plot each of these. Letter A, I'd go over 3 and up 3, and that would be right there. That is not a point that's labeled. Letter B, I'd go over 2 and up 0. That's not a point that's labeled. Letter C, I'd go over 7 and up 5. That's not a point that's labeled. And letter D, I'd go -4 and +6. That is a point that's labeled, so D is the correct answer. Number 10, which model represents the expression -4 plus 6? So I need to look at my choices. 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. This has no negatives. This only has 2 negatives, so I've eliminated 2 of my choices. Then I need to look at my positives and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nope, because I only need 6 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So choice B is the correct model. Number 11, if the temperature in Antarctica is negative 20 degrees and it drops another 9 degrees, meaning it's going down 9 degrees, then it's going to be getting colder to negative 29. If I want to think of that as an equation, negative 20 minus negative 9, add the opposite, plus negative 9, what am I talking about? Plus negative 9, so then negative 20 plus negative 9 would be negative 29. So letter A is the correct answer. Obviously, it can't be C or D because that's getting warmer, and so is letter B. Number 12, which of the following expressions simplifies to negative 1? If it says simplifies, that just means you're going to solve it. So, number 1, I have to add the opposite. Negative 39 plus negative 38 is certainly not going to be negative 1. Number 2, these are the same signs. They're both negative, so that's going to be a positive 1. Number 3, when I have two separate signs on addition, that really means I'm subtracting. The difference is 1, and 20 gets to keep its sign because it has the greater absolute value. And then number 4, 16 divided by 16 is 1, and they are the same sign, so it's positive 1. So that means the correct answer is A. Only number 3 simplified to be negative 1. Number 13, he is keeping track of how much money he acquired or spent last week. First, he bought a sandwich for $5. He bought it. Okay, so if he started with $0 and then he bought a sandwich, that means he's at negative $5. Then he earned $14. So if I owe somebody $5 and I make 14, I'm left with $9. Then he spent $9, so now I'm at $0 again to go see a movie. He then earned $6, so now he's at $6 for helping his dad paint their fence. And then he found $5. So if I add that to what I've got, my final answer is $11. If I want to look at the equation, negative 5 plus 14 minus 9 plus 6 minus negative 5. Let's say I solve the equation instead of working through the word problem. Negative 5 plus 14 is 9, and then I rewrite the rest of my equation. 9 minus 9 is 0. Rewrite the rest of my equation. 0 plus 6 is 6. Rewrite the rest of my equation. And 6 minus negative 5, I would have to add the opposite, and that would be 11. Again, that needed to be in the tens place and the ones place.